We have some insane new details about the opening scene for Avengers Doomsday. According to some new reports, this scene could be a contender for one of the most epic opening scenes of all time. And not only that, but the movie is shaping up to possibly be the greatest movie of all time. Not just superhero movies, but the greatest movie of all time, period. We'll wait and see on that. But what is up, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Not too long ago, we did a report for Avengers Doomsday's opening scene that said we would see Tobey Maguire's universe and the X-Men universe colliding together due to an incursion. We heard that Tobey's universe was going to be destroyed, but, and this is a big but, I have to put this out here, Tobey lives, because I've seen some reports that say Tobey dies. I've heard some insiders now say that Tobey Maguire SpiderMan will live, and that one of those reports is coming from Alex Perez at thecosmiccircus.com. I'm glad to hear those reports. Tobey can't die. That's my one rule. But we have an update, more details about this particular scene, and it sounds like they're going to make it just honestly the best that they possibly could, because I think this would be a hell of a way to start this movie off. You'll have to let me know what you think, and you'll have to let me know who you think wins. You'll see what I'm talking about. So the insider My Time to Shine Hello said this, referring to this opening scene that we've heard with Tobey Maguire and possibly Doc Ock, because Alfred Molina was thrown out there as well, fighting the X-Men. She said this, Avengers Doomsday is not only the most epic Avengers movie, but it might be the most epic movie of all time, all caps. The opening scene alone tops any previous Avengers movie, and the final battle is just insane. I hope this is all true, but she continues and gives us more details. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fighting the X-Men, and particularly Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, is the opening scene of Avengers Doomsday. So before, we just heard that Tobey Maguire, and again, possibly Doc Ock, who is good, maybe, who knows what happened, maybe the events of Spider-Man No Way Home actually changed those events there. Maybe he didn't die. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But before, we just heard it was those two. Maybe Doc Ock was Spider-Man fighting just X-Men in general. Now, the X-Men would be the specific X-Men that we see in the X-Men trailer, like Cyclops, Professor Xavier, Magneto, but they did not mention Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And this is actually very interesting because this would probably mean that there are going to be two Wolverines in the film, both played by Hugh Jackman, which I'm totally here for. Might mean a Wolverine might die, because it's going to be pretty interesting to have two of them on the screen at the same time. But here's how I think it's going to go down. Now, first of all, like I said, I'd like to know who you think would win, because I've actually been seeing a lot of comments, some saying Tobey wipes the floor with Wolverine, some saying Wolverine wipes the floor with Tobey. I'm not asking who do you think would win as in kill the other, but who do you think would just win in this fight? Now, I think overall, unfortunately, the X-Men do beat Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina, or at the very least, they cause their Earth to survive, and the other Earth, Tobey's, gets destroyed, because that's the report that we've been hearing. Tobey's universe gets destroyed. The X-Men are kind of pegged to be villains because of this, but I think it's just classic comics. They're destroying the other Earth to save their own. That's one of the only ways you can save your own universe in the comics. So I think that's most likely what's going on. But there have been some other details and some other reports. And the account, Earth 616, that has been following a lot of the news, they've been reporting a lot of news. They have just said this about an exclusive. They said, why does Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fight the X-Men, especially Wolverine, in Avengers Doomsday? According to recent reports, Avengers Doomsday opens with an incursion between two universes, X-Men World and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe, Earth 96283. The X-Men don't come to attack. They arrive because their reality detects a dangerous anomaly. Now, I do think they have the ability to detect this, whether it's via psychics, whether it's Magneto feeling, some type of magnetic poles, right? Because I feel like he would be able to feel that if another Earth came. That's a lot of magnetic force that he could pick up on. And then also Beast is insanely smart. He probably has some technology. Plus, you have to consider the Marvel's post-credit scene, Monica Rambeau showing up in their universe. He says, you're from another universe. It shouldn't be possible, but here you are. That would probably encourage him to start building new technology or trying to detect another universe out there to maybe try to get her back to hers, but in turn, in doing so, he actually detects Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. And we have heard basically the three universes that are going to be facing incursions in Avengers Doomsday are our main universe, the 828 universe, where the Fantastic Four are from, and the X-Men universe. So it says from their point of view, Tobey's world is putting their own universe at risk. They believe they have to stop it to survive. On Peter Parker's side, everything looks different. Powerful strangers suddenly appear all over his New York. Tobey's Spider-Man reacts the only way he knows how, protects the city. To him, this feels like an invasion, which, yeah, absolutely. If another Earth showed up and a bunch of superpowered individuals just showed up, yeah, you would take that as a threat. And yeah, in his universe, as far as we know, it's just him. Maybe Doc Ock, like the reports have mentioned before, maybe. But yeah, just him versus the X-Men. Yeah, no wonder his universe is the one that gets destroyed. So they say he likely fights back immediately, possibly with a redeemed Dr. Octopus helping him. Things turn violent when Hugh Jackman's Wolverine steps in. As per the reports, Wolverine is the first to attack Spider-Man. He doesn't wait for answers. That single moment starts the full fight, Spider-Man versus Wolverine, hero versus hero, not because they hate each other, but because neither side understands what's really happening, which is fair. It's going to be pure chaos, but I love it. Like, I love it for the opening scene. Like, if you think about that, just imagine you're in the theater for Doomsday. It starts, and you just see destruction, world colliding with another world. You see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's on the ground. Then all of a sudden, boom, Wolverine shows up. All of a sudden, Storm, Cyclops, all these people just show up. And out of nowhere, we go back to the early 2000s, and you have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fighting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. That is a killer way to start this off. Then Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe dies, sadly, but the TVA reportedly saves him and then makes him a part of the Multiverse Avengers team. Which brings me to the Wolverine conflict, because I definitely think Deadpool and Wolverine, the ones from Deadpool and Wolverine, are going to be on a different planet. They could be on this universe. That is definitely a possibility, and there might not be two Wolverines, because they did stay in Deadpool's respective universe, which we do know has the X-Men in it. So perhaps when everything is going down, or before everything goes down, they do go and they do team up with the X-Men. And Hugh Jackman, we already know how his character operates. Yeah, it seems like he would just go into action and start fighting. But I think that the TVA would want these two, Deadpool and Wolverine in particular, and X-23, who should be with them, kind of doing their own bidding. As in, Loki sees what's happening, Dr. Doom's coming, and he recruits them. Now, that could happen after this original scene. The incursion could happen, Deadpool and Wolverine could be with them, and then he could go, what the heck is going on? The universes colliding with other universes isn't supposed to happen. Isn't this what the TVA is supposed to prevent? What the hell is the TVA doing? And then he could somehow go to the TVA, and then they could recruit him after. That could happen, but I do think it would be kind of cool to see two Hugh Jackman Wolverines on screen at the same time. We saw a lot of different variants in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't believe we saw any of them on screen at the same time, and would actually be cool to see them fight a little bit. But I'm definitely here for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fighting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So that is more details that we're hearing now about the opening scene for Avengers Doomsday. And yeah, I do think that could be a contender for the best superhero opening scene of all time. There are some really great ones, like The Dark Knight. There's some great Avengers ones. There's some great just Marvel movies in general. But this could definitely top it if they do it well. Basically, the teams and the characters from the early 2000s coming together on screen, fighting each other, all in Avengers Doomsday. I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. And if you didn't hear, we did a video yesterday talking about how Marvel is considering making Avengers Secret Wars into two different parts. Now, this is coming from the Hot Mic podcast. Jeff Snyder has gotten a lot right with Avengers Doomsday. So this report is probably accurate. It doesn't mean that's going to happen. He said they're considering it, which I totally would consider that, because based on everything we've heard for Doomsday, based on the run times, 3 hours plus, Secret Wars should be bigger and should be longer, so maybe they should split it into two different parts. But the Insider Majestic recently said this is what I think will happen based on the way the movie's plot is developing. Avengers Doomsday, Part 1, Avengers Battle World, Part 2, Avengers Secret Wars, Part 3. So a 3-part movie, because Avengers Doomsday really is Part 1. Even if we got Secret Wars Part 1, Part 2, that's really just Avengers Doomsday Part 2 and Part 3, right? It's all the same story. It's all about Doom, the multiverse, and then, as it says here, Part 2, Battle World, which does come next. Doomsday is the actual doomsday of the universe, the day that the multiverse is doomed, but also Doom becomes the leader of the entire multiverse because he will create Battle World. He will become God Emperor Doom. There's a lot you could do on Battle World. And then Part 3, Secret Wars, that could be when people finally realize Doom is the villain. And then once that happened, it's not like you can just go, okay, well, let's get rid of Doom. No, you already lost to Doom in Doomsday. They're going to show us how powerful Doom actually is. And then he will actually have followers and an army in Secret Wars. So it's not going to be like, hey, we finally realized that Doom is the villain. No, it's like we actually have to defeat him. How do we do that? How do you kill a god? Because I do believe in some way, shape, or form, he will get a lot of power and he will become God Emperor Doom. So I am kind of here for this. You could have a really big battle in Battle World between people who do not remember what happened before and people who do. So basically what I believe is going to happen, and this is based on the comics and reports that we've heard, is that once Doom kind of makes his own world at the destruction of the multiverse, whoever is on that world will not remember the past, but the people who are not, possibly in life rafts, possibly people in the quantum realm, they are going to remember everything and they'll remember Doom is the villain. But then they'll have to awaken other people's memories. They'll have to get people on their side. I would actually love a Battle World movie where the right-hand people of Doctor Doom are actually kind of the villains of the movie. I would love for the Avengers to be recruiting people and the Scarlet Witch interferes. I haven't heard any reports about this, but in my mind, I think this would be pretty cool because if Doom does revive the Scarlet Witch, she would be with Doom. And then on this new planet, if she didn't remember anything, Doom would be kind of the savior. So she would fight for Doom. These people, the heroes, would be the bad guys to her. But then at the end, they could awaken her memory maybe with Professor X, although that did not work out very well the last time we saw that. But you get what I'm saying. I think it would be really cool if, you know, obviously we got a lot with Doom. People try to go up against him. He kills them. But then the Avengers, they start recruiting people, awakening their memories. But then they have to defeat the Scarlet Witch or a bunch of very powerful people with Doom. Because that would be, imagine Doom and the Scarlet Witch fighting with each other, fighting other people. And then Doom, the Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange on the same team. Because we've seen the leaked concept art of Strange by Doom's side. That's already God Emperor Doom is crazy, but with the Scarlet Witch and with Doctor Strange, that's kind of unbeatable. You can, and that's what I think they're going to do. But I do think this is going to happen one way or another, even if the Scarlet Witch isn't in it. We've seen the leaked photos with Doom on the throne, Doctor Strange by his side, and Sue Storm on the other side with Franklin Richards. That already is an insane amount of power in one group. Imagine the Avengers trying to fight them. That's a hell of a fight. And then we're going to probably get, you know, the one-on-one fights. Whoever fights Doom at the end, whether that's Thor, whether that's Reed, whether it's a bunch of people together, there is that final fight. So there are a lot of different fights and stories that you can do. So I am all here for a 3-part Avengers event, really, is what this is. Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Battle World, Avengers Secret Wars. I would love that. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. Is that too much for you? Or do you want as much as possible, like myself? Let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.